Welcome to episode 66 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Crimson Warlock.
Evening, everybody.
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
Iron Banner Week.
And Guardian 1's very own Guardian Radio superstar, K-Dub.
Superstar, what the hell is that? What's up?
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening in on the podcast. However it is that you choose to listen, be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1NET. Just a reminder, the Twitter account is the only instance where we use the number 1. So, and again, that's G, the number 1, NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. Also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at 122 members. If you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say Set as PlayStation Clan or Set as Xbox Clan. After you join the group, we utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include Warlock School, TTL Party Chat, the DOD podcast, and also the... What's it called?
You got this. You got
I'm
this.
At a loss right now. Audio Grimoire. Ghost and Echoes. There we go. That works for me. That's it.
Oh man, that's so funny. I thought to myself, you know what would be great is if River missed so many weeks of the show that I would just play this older
The Robo River.
Oh man.
Hollow River.
And
Hollow
so that
River.
was funny.
That's it. Hollow River. Right.
Definitely some outdated information there.
That was seriously outdated.
But yeah, so this is the third week in a row that River hasn't got a chance to talk about Destiny, and I can't even imagine like the top of his head just like brimming like the top of a kettle or something, because he's got a lot to say about Destiny. I mean, what is he even doing? I think maybe he's talking to his kid, like, look I know you're a little too young to understand what I'm saying to you, but I need to talk to somebody about this. But hey, K-Dub, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. You know what? I got to run Oryx with SDF River a couple weeks ago, and we had a good time. And I'm so happy that he's moving into the PS4 gently, but we got to get him over there a little more aggressively. But it's really, really cool to play with River, so it's awesome.
Right. It is cool to play with River. I don't think I've played with River since he's gotten onto the PlayStation 4. I did get to play with him once on the Xbox One. You know what's funny?
Yes, you did, Remy.
Did I?
At between 10 and 12 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It must have just felt like a podcast. It's crazy, though.
Do you pee in a sink typically during a podcast? Or no.
He tweeted out, all right, I'm planning on digging into the Iron Banner. Which side should I go with? Xbox One or PlayStation?
I voted 10 times, by the way.
Did you?
Yes.
And PlayStation still lost. Like it was amazing. Like where are all these people coming out from?
It's because all of his fanboys are all on Xbox.
I don't know. I thought that all of his backup wasn't interested in playing Destiny. Well, what can you do? So, why don't we get to some Destiny conversation? Agrios, why don't you take us down what will shortly be Memory Road?
Okay, well, this week it's all about updates. We started off the week with the 2.0.2 update that fixed the Night Stalker Hunter. They got their quiver back. For some activity changes, they fixed an issue where the worst at completion time, was calculating incorrectly when a large number of guardians were present. I wasn't even aware there was an issue with this. Had you guys ever experienced anything weird with the worst ats when there are large numbers of people there?
Nope.
Were they talking about that it wasn't moving fast enough when there was more people?
No, I think it takes like 5 to 10 seconds for it to be like, oh, the instance is actually over. Like you completed it. Because I've experienced that before, where I'm just sitting there and it's at like 100%, but nothing happens, and we're still killing enemies.
Hey, Agrios, you know why you didn't experience that? Because you were down underneath the planet looking up at them from.
Well, no, they fixed that too, but I don't think that's the one they're talking about.
I know, I'm kidding. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
but since you brought that up, K-Dub, they really need to tweak that now that they've
They fixed it.
changed it.
I mean,
They need to change that encounter I field, or else the completion amount for that strike is going to change.
They're
just gonna bail. All right,
Yeah.
screw this, I'm out. Right.
It's the nightfall, really. I mean, the other times that worst at isn't really that difficult to do. I mean, it's just when it's the nightfall, and depending on which version of that nightfall it is, that it's just overwhelming there for the amount of time that you have to stand in there before the timer blows you up.
Right.
Before the timer blows you up?
Yeah, there's a timer on the worst at, and if you don't get it to 100% completion before the timer's off, it explodes.
Oh, I thought you just failed that thing. I didn't know it actually exploded. That's funny.
You know what's funny? I have to add in. So, all right, I've probably done that strike 10 times. Okay, and it's Jaded from our clan showed me that glitch originally. I've probably done it 3 times. The first time I was like, "Holy shit, what is this?" And right, so excuse my French. So I was checking it out, and then I've done it like a couple other times because it's so cool to be. Have you guys experienced this? It's so cool to be underneath the encounter, looking around, and you're looking at the space, and it's like it's almost it's just so weird to be under there and to walk around in the space that's not really. It's just all geometric and strange, and it's so cool.
Can you tell that K-Dub's never glitched into anything before?
I really don't. You know, I play it pretty straight up, but it was so just ridiculous. And then I was stuck in there, and I was like, "Well, you can't get out of here." And Agrias was like, "Yes, you can. You just get back out the way you came in, and you do this." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And it was so neat. But it's you know, I'm happy that we can experience those things, even if it is a stupid glitch, because it's just fun to do. You know, you're doing it with your friends, and you're doing this weird experience, and that's the whole thing about Destiny, right? Is experiencing these stupid things with your friends.
And sometimes some of those things are the most fun you had. Like, remember like how much fun the sparrow racing was? Those chests back when you double glitched those? That was fun as heck.
Totally. So I had so much fun doing that, but yes, it did need to be corrected. Yes, it's the proper thing to do. Did I have fun doing it? Hell yeah. So great experience. Way to go, Bungie.
Well, I think that this is an amplified version of what they were trying to avoid with, like, by making nightfall strikes no longer send you back to orbit. Like, I feel like this is a perfect example of you've made this part too hard for the majority of players. Like, I know people could make it through that. If I really dug deep and spent an hour trying to get through that, then again, I was there when Sharks and Agrios and I tried to get through that part. We were there for over an hour trying to do
Arcburn? Was it Arcburn? Arcburn?
Yes, it was week 1. It was Artburn. It was Fallen,
Yeah.
and Remy was so pissed off, and he's like, "Let's just go. Let's go play PvP." And Agris and I were like, "PvP? You don't even want to play PvP most of the time."
Artburn
I'm
week
done with this.
sucked, dude. Artburn week was brutal.
Right,
Yeah.
but this is an insanely magnified version of what happens when you push people underground. Literally, actually, literally, this part is made so much easier by just having one person glitch underneath it. Like, instead of them trying to push themselves and do it and win, you know it's not worth anybody's time. Every single time I've done that, strike, even in just the heroic playlist, one of the other people I'm with gets under there and does that.
I want to say something funny about the very first time that Remy Agris and I did that. After the hour was up and everybody kind of bailed from that, Remy said, "It doesn't matter. Give it a week, and the community will find a way around it." And it was literally 12 hours later that they found a way around it. So,
right.
Yep.
Can I tell you the way? Can I tell you the way around it going forward? Defender Titan.
Yeah, but
Well,
none of us were Defender Titans at the time. We were all, I think, all
Titan
three of us
Master
were on
Race,
our
dude.
hunters.
Titan Master Race. I hate to break it to everybody,
No,
but
I
it's...
don't think so. Don't think so.
I know. I'm playing.
I'd like to discuss that whole master race thing. I don't even understand why people say that, because the Titan is a class. Like, if anything, it's master class.
You're right. You're right.
Like
Totally
it would have
right.
been like exo master race,
right.
awoken
Right.
master
But
race. Like,
I think the master race is like a term, like it's a phrase that means more than master race at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. Why don't you say what you mean instead of all this other implication behind master race? Like, master
That's
class.
what I mean. It's like a metaphor almost at this point. Like, you say kill two birds with one stone, people know what that means, and it's super simple. Well, if you just like whatever, master race, they know what you mean. They know you're poking fun at them, saying that you're the best.
Right.
I think it's too I think it's too pointed. Why bring up a master race at all when what you're saying is master class? Like, I get what you're saying, but it's
talking
shitty.
social issue, I think you should definitely make fun of it even more because of that.
Yes.
Well, then the problem is trying to get people to see that you are not with the other people parroting master race, and that you're saying, I'm making fun of those people saying master.
But I think everybody saying master race is mocking the fact that there is no real master race.
Right. I agree. But you know,
it's a sarcastic
you've brought it to my attention that I will absolutely say master class going for now forward. I will say master class 1,000 times.
It doesn't matter though. You're still wrong because there was no master class. All three classes are equal.
You're absolutely right.
Well, I mean,
exactly right.
Okay, so what do I like better? Do I like chicken? Do I like beef? Or do I like pork? Like, sometimes if I've had too much chicken, that's not what I want at all. So I mean, it's we're talking about like, well, blue is the best color. Like,
exactly
from a sociology standpoint.
That's why
people just want to go and stand behind a point. It usually doesn't even matter what that point is, but as long as they can stand behind a point and yell insults at a different point, they'll do it.
Jez is absolutely right.
Yeah. It's intentionally to incite. Like, part of its intent is to incite the other person. The only reason you're saying is not necessarily because you really believe that that's the master race. You just want to poke fun at the other people who run the other two races.
Stir crap. That's exactly right.
Exactly. It's not like a sincere statement at all. I've never taken it that way. I believe anybody who's not using it sarcastically is just improperly using it.
We all do it in jest. It's awesome.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. I was nowhere near where I'm supposed to be. All right. So moving on. What was the last thing we even talked about when we went off on that tangent? Did I only say about the Night Stalker? Oh, the Warsat. Right. That whole thing was the Warsat. Okay. So, they also fixed an issue where the tower was featured for Red Bull quest lines for people who didn't have them yet. They fixed an issue where players were able to go out of the environment during the Fallen Saberfall strike. That's what we were just talking about, and so there's gonna have to be some better solution. We're just gonna have to, I guess, get good at that. It seemed like so much of a crapshoot. Like whether you got lucky enough to like have the enemies not run in a just really really bad place for you. I suppose with some practice you can learn their patterns, though. We'll see.
The different enemies, the only one that's really an issue is probably the Taken one, the Taken version, because of the blinding and all the wizards and stuff. And as soon as you start working out where they spawn from, you can generally take them down pretty quick. Just team shoot.
Right.
Continuing.
So they fixed an issue where the Daughters of Auric Death Scream volume was too loud. Now, do they mean volume as in the area that it affected on the stage, or they literally mean the sound it generated in relation to the sound of everything else?
The sound.
Yeah, judging by people's
it was so
reactions,
loud. So
judging
loud.
by the people's reactions, it was actually a volume level volume.
That was weird though, because I appreciated that. I loved that. I loved that I loved that it was screaming in my ears that we just killed that bitch. Like it was awesome.
You're awesome. You've been to too many concerts. That's what it is. You can't hear no more.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Huh? K-Dub's always on top of it for those sisters, though. Run!
That was great, but that's cool. I'm gonna find out tomorrow because we're gonna run it hard mode tomorrow. So.
Okay, so they made some changes to some quests and bounties as well. They fixed an issue where players joining during certain phases of the Paradox mission would start the alternate encounter there. This is actually how the alternate Paradox mission was actually discovered initially by someone spawning in at a just the right time. They fixed an issue where Taken Trials quest step could be completed outside of the Dreadnought. They fixed an issue that for the Crucible, they fixed an issue that prevented the Mercy rule from disabling players from joining in progress games. So I guess potentially people were joining into matches that had already been Mercy rolled.
Sharks.
Yeah, I had some of that. Yeah.
It's happened to me before.
All the time.
It's annoying. So glad they
I have yet to actually join into one that the Mercy roll's already kicked in. I've joined into ones just before the Mercy roll.
Right, yeah, right. Right.
So there are some changes to the Warlock Radiance kills. They now will award 10 points, plus 10 points, to bring it in line with all the other supers. These points stack on grenade, melee, and precision bonuses. Radiance kills in the Crucible now include all kills during Radiance, both with weapons and abilities. This simplifies the Song for the Sun Warlock-specific Crucible bounty, and the final step of the Master of Flame quest involving Radiance kills. And that's a good thing for sure. Like, it is by far the most annoying one to try to get multi-kills with in the Crucible, especially when they don't count anything but your grenades and melee.
That's pretty crazy.
They fixed an issue where the Crucible faction rank up package icon was incorrectly using the Vanguard icon, and the drop rates for legendary items in normal Crucible have been increased. So reports of a lot more purples popping out there. Have you guys had much experience with that? Are you happy with the current legendary drop rate from the Crucible?
I got a 310 last night. I'll take it.
So a big thing we were talking about on Guardian Radio was the packages coming from Iron Banner, the level 3 or the rank 3 and the rank 5 package is what we're going to get, right? We're speculating that, and I said they better be 310, and sure enough, my rank 3 package was a 310 artifact. It was blue, all mind you, but who cares, right? Because you're going to infuse it probably anyways. I haven't gotten my rank 5 yet. I'm like 4.5. But I did have somebody else in our clan get a rank 5 and got a 314 something or other. I forget what it was at the time. But I've gotten a 308 chest piece and 2 300 arms. So at least they're 300 plus, which is good. because last Iron Banner we were getting screwed because it was all 280 and check.
Yeah, but that's only the packages. That's not the actual drops that you get from matches.
Right.
And also, we didn't get into the Iron Banner yet. I was actually asking about Standard Crucible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Okay, yeah.
No, it's all right.
All right.
No, still, we were going to talk about that anyway. So
yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Anybody else? Have you been in?
Have
you guys just improved drops in Standard Crucible?
Standard Crucible? What's that?
No, but nobody's playing Standard Crucible right now. That's the only problem. This just happened on the update, so.
Okay, so they've made some changes to quests and bounties in the Crucible as well. Subclass quests no longer require the player to unlock one subclass at a time, so you can work on all those at your leisure. The quest and bounty steps that previously required wins now only require match completion. They fixed an issue where the daily Crucible bounty, Healthy Balance, was not properly completing on match completions. And the featured matches weekly Crucible bounty now awards +3 points per win and +1 point per completion. Progress is not lost on losses now. So this will help a lot of people get that completed more effectively. They also made many changes regarding daily Crucible bounties and the Crucible Forged quest line. The Crucible Forged quest line is the lengthy multi-step quest that eventually unlocks the weekly bounties for the Crucible. Previously, they made a change where as long as you unlock this quest on one character, you unlock your bounties on all of the characters, and now they've made this quest line significantly easier. In a lot of cases where you were required to win a match while completing certain qualifications, you now simply have to complete matches while doing those same qualifications. For example, getting like 6 pulse rifle kills in a match. You no longer have to win that match. Now you just have to complete a match with 6 pulse rifle kills to mark a check off of that quest.
Thank goodness.
This should make it significantly easier for a lot of people. It was an extremely time-consuming quest, and I know a lot of people haven't even completed it yet on a single character. So now into the Iron Banner. They increased the drop rate for legendary gear in the Iron Banner playlist, as we were talking about there a little bit. K-Dub was a lot more pleased with.
Jump the gun.
What about the rest of you guys? Have you had a good experience in Iron Banner this week?
So, again, for me, like I got a 310 chess piece earlier, and I had another buddy who got 315 Ghost. But I've seen people that are in the 310s or higher on my fire teams get 291s, and they're the Iron Banner legendaries. And I just feel bad. I feel so bad because it's just like that RNG is getting you. You deserve a better reward than something because your light level is so high, but that RNG is just pretty brutal sometimes.
Okay, so what you're saying is it's not related to your actual level?
From what I've seen,
it's not.
It's better, but it still is lacking.
So what level were you when you got your 315 chess piece?
I didn't get it. I got a 310 chess piece, and I was 301. But again, like I saw a 313 a light level guardian get a 291 hand cannon.
So your level affects the range in which you are awarded. Like, for instance, if you would go in there at, like, drop your light level down to 250 or something and go into the Iron Banner, you are almost certainly going to get lower legendary rewards closer to the 250, whereas if you go at 300, they're going to be closer to 300. The problem is, it's like, instead of just give 20, it's like give or take 20. So if you're 300, you might get like a 280 something, band, whereas that would be the high end if you went in there at like 250.
Got it.
Now, I thought this before. I meant to say it on the show, but I would really appreciate if the system, rather than giving you light levels lower than your Guardian's light level, if all of the things that would have normally rolled under your light level, like that percentage of items, just always rolled at least your current light level. or within 5, less than 5 less than your current light level, then it's not going to boost you up any faster because you're still going to get the same percentage of ones higher to raise you, but you won't have gear that you're like, oh, that would be sweet to use, but it's 40 behind. I'm going to have to infuse it up before I can even consider using it.
So what I keep hearing from people is the complaint that the that the items that are dropping are no longer, or that they aren't going to raise them any in light level. Are you guys so far past items that would be interesting for you to look at or check out, that you just no longer care about what the guns are? Or because for me, I'm, being a year one guardian, just seeing a freaking legendary anything pop up is like, hooray, I was a good boy and I've done what has been asked of me, and so and then I check what it is, and then I check the stat rolls, and then I check and see if I can use it to raise my light level. Like, I haven't gotten to the point where the gear doesn't mean anything to me other than light level. K-Dub, have you gotten to the point where, like you were saying, this is dropping for other people, and are you not interested in gear anymore? Are you just all
Well,
about light level?
you know what's funny? So we were talking about getting all these 310 drops, right? And I got 310 drops recently, and there's nothing that I can do with them because it used to be, oh wow, awesome! I can infuse this into that. No, all my stuff is above 310 already. So my helm, my arms, my chest, my boots, my ghost, my artifact, everything is at 310 or above. So there's nothing I can do with it anymore. So now the good part of that is I'm not whoring myself out to Zur. So like I have more coins now because I'm not going like crazy to just trying to get every legendary because that's going to drop at 310. So my coins are building back up. Now that we can buy weapon parts, my weapon parts are coming back because I'm not trying to go nuts with that. So I'm in a better financial, I'm using air quotes, financial position in Destiny right now with the status of the economy, which is really really cool. I'm not stressed out about fuck. I got two weapon parts, right? So um, I like the way that it's going, but the reality of it is, and this is the way that it's been since Destiny, Vanilla Destiny, is what matters in the end is the raid. It just is, and trials too. You got to throw trials in there, but what matters in the end is the raid, and it gets to hard mode raid now, and now we're gonna wait for challenge mode raid. So that's kind of the next carrot on the end of the stick. But at the end of the day, come Tuesday, everybody's looking hard mode raid, hard mode raid, hard mode raid. We've got Iron Banana now, which is fun, and they're having a great time. And there's some cool guns and there's some cool gear, and maybe the roll is good. But I got a chess piece today. It was 309. I'm like, great. I'll never wear it because the roll is intellect strength. I don't want that. And I all my stuff is above 310. But for everybody, that's not the case. So I've got a lot of people that go in there at 299 and they get a 308 chess piece. They're thrilled, which is awesome. So, but for me personally, no, a 310 thing isn't blowing my skirt up. You know what I mean? But and it's great. They're absolutely doing the right thing, and purple drops are everywhere. And as a matter of fact, we were doing a stream today, Guardian Radio stream, and invariably, probably 50% of the time, the person that was at the bottom of the leaderboard, and it became a joke, got a purple, some sort of purple gear.
Oh, goody. That's
Yeah.
where I
So
live.
right. So they've done a good job with the drop rate. They've done a good job bringing the light level up, and the stuff you get from packages is 310, like we were kind of talking about, which is where it needs to be because not everybody wants to go through the raid or can. So give them a chance to level up. It's awesome. So I think they're doing the right thing as a whole. Um, but at the end of the day, for people that have been like grinding through and cranking it out, that stuff's not. Look, we're here to have fun with the community. That we're here to have fun with our friends. That's the point of Destiny, right? So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying Iron Banner. I'm enjoying the drops. I'm enjoying my friends, and it's a good time. So it's all good.
Sharks, let me ask you, as someone who plays an insane amount of Destiny, have you gotten past the point with drops where legendaries, it doesn't matter what it is, you're not interested in it if it doesn't get you to a higher light level, or are there still pieces of gear out there that you think, oh, this might be the version of this that I'm looking for?
Okay, so as far as my perks I want on my gear, I got all that after week 2. Um, as far as light level, no, not anywhere near it. And so anything I want above the light level I have, except for Iron Banner gear. In fact, I've been saving all my gear. I've been saving any extra gear I have, and I'm going to get all the Iron Banner gear, the perks that I want. So right now, I guess it doesn't really make a difference what I get it at, as long as I get like an intellect discipline or whatever I'm looking for. And then I'm gonna infuse all my other crap gear into it, including my raid gear. So, but I mean, really, yes, I'm at the point now, and I've been at the point for a long time that if higher gear doesn't drop, it's pointless. I mean, it's not just with gear, it's with guns too. That there really there's not anything out there that I say, oh, that's going to be so much better than what I'm using right now that I have to have it. And it's kind of disappointing in a lot of ways. And it's not just me that has the problem with this. The gear, we're not able to infuse it to get it higher. There's a lot of other people that have the same issues too. They just want to be able to get higher, let alone getting the right gear to be able to do it. But yeah.
Agrios, are you at the point where gear just doesn't have any meaning to you unless the light level is above what you have? Wait a second. Let me first start by saying, do you still play Destiny?
Well, for the first week since Destiny launched last week, I did not complete my Nightfalls.
That's amazing.
Well, first week since I was high enough to do it, because I don't believe I did Nightfalls the first week Destiny was out, because I didn't get high enough to do it quickly enough, I didn't think. But so yeah, I've been playing a lot of Fallout. But as far as my gear goes, you know what? Part of what has been making it easy to be concentrating on Fallout and not into Destiny is Destiny has kind of killed my gear game a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot. And it's a combination of I'm a collector. They've killed my ability to collect. I've gone through and having to just delete collections I've had just to make room to play the game. Not only that, but part of the reason I've had to make room to play the game is their new infusion system is more inventory intensive than any system they've had to date. Because I do like new rolls on guns. That is, like you said, that's part of like my thing in Destiny. I like to like get like the perfect holy grail of a gun for me and my play style. Same with like having different loadouts for different situations and different characters and stuff. I'm big into that, like min maxing, finding like just the perfect loadout for me, so I have all the abilities that are ideal for me. I enjoy doing that. Now, with a combination of trying to do these things and deal with the infusion system, I'm just no space. I'm just totally out of space because I get a new gun. It's like, ooh, that's a decent roll. That's something new and interesting. I'd like to play with that and try that and see how that is. But it's 280. Okay, so now it gets to go sit in my vault most of the time while I get lucky enough to get guns to infuse into it. Then half the time, before I even get it up high enough where I'm able to like use it and have fun with it, I found another gun similar but a little bit better. But now it's 280. So the one I have going is really just infusion fodder for that new one that's slightly better than that one I found now. And it's just such a annoying process. I just want to like get the new guns and go out and have fun with them on the high end content that I want to go do. Like, yeah, I could use it on lower end content when it's only 280, only affects me in raids and nightfalls, but that's what I want to play in Destiny right now is raids and nightfalls. So it's really, really, really frustrating for both a collector and a min-maxer from an available space and gear type of view. Like, I like to have one of like what I consider the best of every type of gun in the game. For me, is the way I like to play the game. And currently, Destiny's just been working against me on those fronts.
Jez, what about you? Do you still play Destiny anymore?
I think this week is a bit hard to play Destiny. There's a little bit too much going on.
Yeah.
This and last week,
That's an understatement.
It's been there's been 3 games that I played, and I've only logged into Destiny once, and I think that was to look at my gunsmith stuff, and then I logged out. That's it.
You know what though? It has been said that Destiny is a marathon, not a sprint, and so you already are way ahead of the people who will be starting after this this period of time. So
hey, who all bought the PDX this week? The Suros.
I did.
Scott,
I was sad.
Scott Ruffle. Everybody who just Remy. I did.
K-Dub, is that coming from your house?
Nope. I have 5 kids,
Crimson.
but none of them are that young, dude.
That's Crimson's baby.
We gotta stay on target here, K-Dub.
Okay, my
stay
bad.
on target.
Go.
But bring it back up before the end of the show because I want to see where you're going with that.
Yeah, no.
Jez, so when you have played, is your focus only on legendaries, or is your focus only on light level, or are you still interested in finding other roles of different guns?
To a point, I kind of have the guns that I like, and it'd be hard pressed for me to find something better. So I tend to either just look for something that's higher light level and use that, or probably not like the next gun that I pick up.
Of course, that might all change for you in a couple weeks.
Not particularly. Most of the guns that are changing are probably not gonna deal with my issue. They're getting rid of luck in the chamber for snipers as a thing.
Fuck.
Good thing I use it for PvE where I'm shooting them in the head anyways.
That's all right. Crimson Warlock. Is light level it for you, or do you still find things that you're interested in?
So Destiny has kind of lost a little bit of its luster for me right now, just because I can't get groups to run hard mode when I'm on, and for me that's about the only thing that I want to do now. I'm playing Iron Banner this week because I do want to get a full set of gear on 2 of my characters, but as for everything else, like I'm kind of glad that there's almost a content gap to play something else and take a breather from Destiny. And it's nice to do something new every once in a while. To take those rest spots in the sprint where you're not running as fast.
Yeah, I could see that. This last 2 weeks has been probably the lowest amount of time that I've played Destiny, both because Fallout 4 came out and how cool is that game, and also we've had my youngest 10-month-old. He's been really sick, so he's been staying up until the wee hours of the night, and so I'm unable to really focus on video games as a whole. What I do though is I come back for those test weapons. Like I make sure I go through my test weapons every week because I'm really interested in cranking up that gunsmith score, and I feel like it's something very easy that I can do that isn't. There's not. I don't know, it gives you 250 points on that wheel, so it's I don't know. It's very cool, fun thing to do, but yeah, there's just so much going on right now. I would have picked up that new Star Wars game, but the beta didn't really capture my attention, and actually, literally every single game that I play is such a reminder that they are not Destiny. Like I love Fallout. I played so much Fallout 3. and I love the setting. And I was thinking the other day, how many people are going to be upset that they spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in the wasteland if that happens to us sometime in the near future? You know, like if all of the world was thrust into the apocalypse, you know, I'm going to be mad that I spent so much time.
Yeah, Remy, I have to interject. Like that, like I played the beta and I was like, not, I was kind of negative on it, and everybody was up my butt for being negative about it. I have since purchased it and I stream it in the morning with Mark sometimes, and I'm telling you right now that game is going to go by the wayside really quick.
Is it
I'm tired of
faster or
it.
slower than Titanfall?
Oh boy,
Because Titanfall was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with
Yeah, you
Titanfall,
know
and
what?
that had a steep
Probably
drop off.
the only thing is there's different modes. There's more modes I think than Titanfall. So, but the gunplay is just not good. The gunplay is and in order to get there's probably two guns in that game that make it fun, but you got to be like ranked 25 and it takes forever to get there. And it's
Talking
just
about that
the
21B.
no, I've got that one. It's the hand cannon that Han Solo uses. I forget, but it's. I'm telling you right now, it's just with it's only multiplayer. It's only certain modes, and it's just gonna. It's a bummer. I was so excited, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and and I'm gonna play it again tomorrow morning. But uh, it's Destiny has nothing to worry about.
Right, and
So,
it's
J-Dub, how do you play it?
What?
How do you play it? Do you how first person or third
I play it
person?
like that. I'm crying like that baby when I play it. I'm like, no, dying. I can't do anything. No, it's the spawning. I was having this conversation with Mark. So the spawns are terrible. You spawn right in front of an ATST that steps on your face, or you spawn right in front of five dudes, or you're spawning a mile away from the objective. Whatever it is, but it's just the spawns are terrible. And then the gunplay is kind of like it's floaty and it's not exact, and you got to like lead people. It's just so
Well,
it's
that's
no
why I was asking
bueno, man.
how you play it. Do you play it first person or
I
third
play I
person?
play
And
I
do
do
you ADS
I
or do you hip fire?
I tried both. I play first person because I can see better. Mark plays third person and he does really well. But I like it first person better because when you're third person, you either look over your right shoulder or your left shoulder, and then you're shooting into a wall. So you're trying to get cover and you're trying to shoot, but you're shooting the freaking wall, right? So then you switch shoulders, and then by then you're dead. And it's just it's I'm not happy with it,
I
honestly.
play third person and I never ADS.
Right.
okay.
Well, that's the other thing I've learned, but we're talking about a wrong game. But in any event, the point that I'm making is Destiny doesn't need to worry about that game,
Right,
honestly.
and that's exactly the point I was trying to make. Is no matter Fallout 4 is fantastic and the gunplay is cool, but I receive such a better I receive such a better exchange of energy with Destiny, like running even just patrol, even just picking any patrol and walking in a direction and shooting the same dudes I've shot thousands and thousands of times. It feels so much more rewarding. And I don't know, I can't even imagine a game coming along with better feel, both in terms of hip firing, ADS, strafing, jumping. You know, like Fallout. When you jump, it's like a regular person jump. And
And
in
Right.
it's apples and
Destiny,
oranges.
there's like a freedom there. No, it totally
Oh,
is,
that's
Well, there's
Agrios.
you,
some
you, you wait.
there's another reason too that you guys aren't saying, and it's that you run into somebody in the wild, and that's a real person, and they could do all kinds of different stuff. They could sit there and dance in front of you, and that's entertaining. You sit there and you walk along in Fallout, and you're just walking and walking and walking. You're not able to get on your speeder because there is no speeder in Fallout, and and it's just boring as hell because you know you're not going to run into anybody. It's going to be just whatever the game
See, I
is.
totally
Well,
disagree with that.
well, hang on. But to Remy's point, if I was cursing this morning because I couldn't jump over an effing rock. There was a rock in front of me, and I couldn't just jump over a rock. I'm like, this is a stupid rock. I can do this in real life. I'm in a video game and I can't jump over this effing rock. Like my Titan would just like launch over all of this shit. You know? See,
Right,
it
and it
was
would be
really
fun.
yes,
There's a lot of fun
right,
in
and
in
able to
So
move, right.
the thing is, Destiny can't give me those things that the other games are giving me that I want. So Destiny loses to them in a
What is
lot of
that?
departments.
Yeah, what is that?
Base building, being able to collect as many things as I want to collect and make as many collections as I want to create and change the world how I see fit in Fallout's case, or in Battlefront's case, multiplayer battles with dozens of people involving vehicles that I can fly around and shoot at other vehicles, involving rockets and grenades that I can use to attack vehicles. Because I'll tell you what, when I play those games, that's my dig, is the vehicles. And Destiny, once again, falls horribly short.
totally.
But Destiny's never claimed to be that game.
Right, in Star Wars Battlefront and Fallout never claimed to be Destiny.
No, I agree, but the gunplay is terrible.
Yeah,
I disagree.
terrible,
Oh, okay, well,
terrible.
we'll agree to disagree.
Well,
That's
the
okay.
reason I disagree is because you have to put it in perspective. Because if they provided the same graphical quality and gunplay as Destiny, they wouldn't be able to provide the large scale battles and whatnot because your computer is not good enough. So they're
That may
trading off some of those things so that you can have fun in these other ways.
Oh yeah, what about last gen? I don't see Fallout 4 or Battlefront being constrained by last gen.
And
What's
there's
your
been lots
excuse
and
now?
there's been lots of other games too
And
that had
perhaps especially
huge
worse.
battles, so you can't use that as an excuse. That's copping out, saying that it's last gen in memory and blah
No,
blah
no, I'm
blah.
not popping out on anything. I'm saying compared to Destiny. Destiny doesn't do those things, and they're able to offer the more, better, control of the gun and better gunplay and such.
That, but you know
Because
what? I think that they're not offering that because they're holding off for next their next DLC or their next package that they're going to sell to you. The next thing to try to drag people like you that are saying, okay, well, I'm done with it. Well, we're going to drag those people back in because we're going to give them something that they didn't expect to get. It's going to be
Destiny,
that next big thing. Yeah, yeah.
there's
Of
not
course
room.
you.
There's not room until Destiny 2. They don't have space to do it because of last gen and stuff.
Uh, so Mystic Rose says, if they allowed us to build our quarters and store more stuff, that would be amazing. And I can't wait. I want so badly. I want so badly to build a fort. Like I want to build a guild clubhouse. You know what I'd really like to see in Destiny is like a guild. I hate to say server, but like imagine if when you logged in to Destiny, you could look at a certain place on the map and see that there's people in your group, in your clan, hanging out there, and them hanging out there means that they want to interact with this group. Like
dude, don't even get me started on servers. Don't even get me started on servers. Like dedicated servers would be the thing that sets Destiny to the next level. Because everybody the major complaint that everybody has is dedicated servers, right? Dedicated servers lag, dedicated servers, blah blah blah. So if we can get to a point where they will actually seriously consider and go towards dedicated servers, this will go next level. I mean, as far as PvP, just as far as PvP goes. But I completely agree with you as far as they've done a really good job of embracing the MMO part of Destiny, right? That's even with the Festival of the Lost. That's an MMO type thing that we just encountered. And so if they're going to embrace the MMO type feel, then that would kind of lead us down that road of those social spaces would be so cool. I am completely on board with that, and I think you're right, and that would be so fun. That'd be really cool.
well, thank you.
I'm on board with you. I'm there.
You know, it all occurs to me now that that this could all have been going down in Halo. Like I could have made in one of those Halo maps, forged like a clubhouse where people could have just come in and we could have just hung out. But because there wasn't There wasn't just a hanging out space. I mean, there was through Forge, through custom games, but it was still set up and let's get ready to fight. It wasn't just let's hang out. And because Destiny has added in, these social spaces, it really makes me want that next level where I can maybe decorate it or maybe, put something up on the wall. Like I don't even know. It's endless. The possibilities are endless. Why don't we get to what was it you were saying, K Dub? You said something about the PDX pulse rifle. Who picked it up and who didn't?
Yeah, I was just curious who like I don't buy all of the Arms Day weapons every week because hey, who's got room in their inventory, right? I know I don't. But for it to sit in my inventory in my primary weapons every week, I'm like, son of a bitch, I wish I had another spot. But the one thing that I did purchase and I held on to for the entire week while I was watching that spot sorely in my inventory, it was the Suros PDX because it's a really good pulse rifle. I was curious as to whom picked it up and who didn't. I mean, I've got a Hawk Saw that's at 309. I've got a Nerwin's Mercy that's at 302. I was curious who picked up that PDX. I haven't upgraded mine yet because I mean I know it's really good, but I was just curious who grabbed it, who didn't, what your thoughts were.
Okay, so I bought it last week, but I haven't turned it in yet because I haven't seen a role that really speaks to me. Like, yeah, sure, the role that everyone is talking about is really awesome, but I kind of feel like I'm waiting for a better one. Like I did that with the the Suros DIS 47. And I held on to that for the longest time and until it had a really sweet full auto roll, and I was glad that I did. And actually, that's what I do with most of my weapons every week. Like on my Titan, I have like six or seven packages. I'm just waiting for a good roll on, and I'm really starting to think that maybe I'm not going to get like maybe I've reached the place where I'm not so much interested in finding a good roll as I am in finding a higher light level. This is why I asked you all about that, was because I was wondering if that's the next step for me. Like I probably get to play least of all out of all of the people here, even Crimson. I see you on, and I think to myself, I'm jealous of Crimson Warlock in his raid. And so I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I should just turn these in and break them all down. It sucks that I'm spending 2,500 glimmer on 3 marks, but at least I'll have this extra room that's just being taken up space.
And then the thing about the Arms Day, which is cool, is and the reason that we should all be purchasing them all and holding the spot is because those rolls come differently, right? Every week. But I'm so stacked for space because I'm in the raid or I'm in PvP and I don't want to go back and forth all the time. So I've got my Touch of Malice and I've got all these freaking guns that I want to use. I don't want to hold up a spot, but mind you, and Bife got his in a drop, but there if you get the right roll, you've got a god roll gun. I mean, he got a hawk saw with full auto, perfect balance. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So that's kind of the reason that you need to do it. I mean, the Irene 2 weeks ago, right? There's an Irene with Luck in the Chamber that everybody's procking. Now if you go to PvP, all you see is Irene everywhere, just because they want to proc and body shot you. It's kind of like so
that's why I bought it.
Right, exactly.
I sat on an Irene until it had a nice roll.
Yeah,
because that's what you have to use if you're there. That's why.
I mean, I use 1,000-yard stairs because it has a better auto aim and it's a better headshot. But at the end of the day, you kind of got to buy those weapons just to watch the rolls, just in case. Hey, it's just like RNGesus. It's an RNGesus roll. If it comes out and it's great, then Jiminy Christmas, you've got a great gun.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Agrios, did you like that roll? Were you interested in that specific weapon? Did you buy it?
I have not redeemed it this week yet. I didn't even actually go look at my Arms Day weapons yet. I logged on. Okay, so I do the weekly get one character to get the next batch of Arms Day orders ahead of time thing. Tuesday night. I guess I should explain that in more detail for our viewers. If you log on just before changeover, going into Arms Day from Tuesday into Wednesday, you can be waiting in the tower at the gunsmith when his timer changes over, and he offers the packages for next week. However, you don't move in to the next Arms Day week until you go back to orbit. So you can go ahead and buy the guns from the week ahead, go to orbit, come back and redeem those ones, as well as then go to your other two characters and get the ones you have from last week on those other two. So I got on to do that, and I was just about to purchase them from the gunsmith, and boom, got a disconnect error. So I got screwed out of my 5 Arms Day packages on one of my characters last week. And I just actually haven't been on the Destiny since then.
You know, since Fallout 4 came out, I haven't. Okay, so between the Taken King release and Fallout 4 coming out, every single day I did my 2 dailies to get my 15 marks each. And then after Fallout 4 came out, I just stopped having interest in it. I'm like, yeah, I could go run those things. What's that?
I said same here.
Right, like I could, but number one, I don't have any space for anything. It's not like I'm dying to have any particular piece of gear, and so why race to have to delete something in order to get something else? Like it's
Yep.
bought me some time. Sharks, did you buy that PDX or were you interested?
Nope. To be quite honest, I haven't been wasting any time on Arms Day guns for a while now. I literally I have guns that I love. This might all change once they change all the guns around. But as it stands right now, I don't even waste my time with Arms Day guns because I do have a problem with space, and the other problem I have is that I don't want to go and get a gun, try it out. Well, I mean, let's say I like it, and you go and you only have so much stuff that you can infuse to get stuff up to higher levels. So it's just like I don't know. I'm happy enough with the guns that I have right now that I don't bother.
Got it. Crimson, did you buy that gun or were you interested in it?
No, I'm kind of like Sharks, and I handicap myself because I find my loadout that I like, and I don't leave it. That's just kind of how I play, and I've got the guns that I like, and I don't really experiment much. But I feel like I don't have time to care to experiment either. Like I'm just like, again, I'm happy with what I have, and I feel like it's good enough for me.
You know, I think that with the balancing, the nerfing of Thorn, there has been so much more of exactly what you're talking about. Because I do something similar to what you're doing. I find what works for me and what I like, and I use that. But I also buy these other weapons that people are saying are OP and need to change, that I keep dying to. I just don't ever end up using those things. Like, so I have an Irene because everyone's using it. But when I end up going into the Crucible, I end up using, basically just a sidearm. Um, and and so I have these things that I could use if it got too hairy. That's what it was. The problem with Thorn was that it was pushing me to get Thorn because it was just too hairy. Like how did they let it go for so long? How did they let Thorn go for so long, being the monster that it was? Because I have a great time in PvP now, and there's only a few times where I think, what the hell is that guy using? Because I shouldn't have died that quickly. And it's a handful of weapons, but at least it's a handful and not just one. Well, I know what I died to, you know. Jez, are you back?
Sorta.
Okay. Did you buy that PDX? Did you already have one, or do you care?
No, I didn't have one. I didn't even think about it until this week. Everyone's like, "Oh, you glad you had that PDX?" Like, nope.
So what was the good roll this week on that?
There wasn't a great one.
The middle one was apparently really good.
Yeah, the middle one. Yeah, it was the best. Right.
Okay, I was fortunate enough to get a hawk saw with counterbalance and a bit of in like small bore or injection mold, I forget which, but a stability booster. So it's already kind of a ridiculous beast. So I would be hard pressed to get a better roll than that. I mean, counterbalance on one of those pulse rifles like that is just kind of ridiculous.
Right on. So So there you have it. I bought it. I haven't redeemed it because I'm not certain that I want that roll on it, but also I might just get it so I can delete it. I find pulse rifles are fun, but I have a really hard time like getting a rhythm with them. I picked up both Bad Juju and Red Death just because those are the things that are most often what kills me beyond Hawksaw and Irene. And so but I can't seem to get the rhythm. Like I always feel like I'm out in the middle of the open being shot in between the shots. Like, what are you gonna say, Agrios?
Have you tried one with counterbalance? And I was going to ask you, is it the recoil that gets you, or you're just talking about it, the burst fire?
It's a combination of those two. And I upgraded that one that you saw of mine that one time that had perfect balance and counterbalance.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel bad. It's just I think that I'm ready to shoot again before the thing is even come back down from having been shot the first time. Uh, and this is why I mostly stick with scout rifles, just because I feel like I'm in that instead of it going.
How did it go? How did it go? How did it say it again? That's it.
But I feel like I'm able to even just pause for a second and assess what's going on in front of me. Is where once I pull the trigger on the pulse rifle, it's just kind of going on its way. So so yeah, I spend most of my time with scout rifle.
That's the reason that those max stability pulse rifles wreck. That's the reason that the Nerwins and Hawksaw are so great with the max stability, because they don't go on their way. They stay right on the number. So if you can get that first target on the head and pulse, you're 2 shots and they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know about that because they still jump. Because I have both a fully stabilized one, and then the one that I actually run is not. And I went out into the wild and I did a test on it, and it still jumps.
Not
And
into the wild. Not into the wild. Go into PvP.
no, 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 no,
Get.
no. I'm telling you that it does not lock on. You can test it by shooting at something, and you can see that
I'm
it
not
does.
saying. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it's year one Suros lock on. But I'm saying that if you get your aim on a head, and you put 2 pulses in there, they're done.
But
And it.
it's like that without the stability. That's what I'm trying to say.
Eh.
That I run it with. I do better with the hip fire one that I have than the one that I run with full stability.
I'll tell you what. Go to what's the starting area on Earth when you first drop in the
Steps.
right. Go there. Go to a wall and
Yeah.
shoot that recoil
I
pattern into
did.
a wall.
I did. It still jumps. I'm telling
Okay.
you, it's not as hot shit as Bife made out. And because no, seriously, because I was like really stoked because I had told Agrius this a long time ago that I love my Hawk Saw. This thing, it wrecks. I've had it for a long, long time now. And he goes, oh, you're gonna really like one if you get one with the stability, because that's what everybody's saying. And Bife was
Right.
doing videos on it, and Dado was talking about it, and I was like, okay, well, 2 weeks ago I got one, and I was like, hot damn, I've got this awesome gun now. Now I'm gonna totally wreck people. And I was like, this isn't any better. It's actually worse because it doesn't have the hip fire.
Do
Are
you
you
have
talking
Nerwins?
about counterbalance, or are
Shark.
you talking
Wait.
about max
Well,
stability?
yeah.
Yeah,
Which one?
Which? Yeah.
which max stability. Max
Okay.
Okay.
Have
stability,
you
it sucks.
have you tried Nerwins?
Yeah.
Because Nerwins is like 98% stability. That thing is like a laser.
Yeah,
But
I don't like that because it's too slow. I like Hawksaw a
It's a
lot
3
better.
headshot kill too.
Yep.
yeah, right.
But I'm
I
just
mean,
saying it's not necessarily for everybody. A lot of people like the stability because they're sitting and they're firing from a long ways away and they want to have it not jump as much. But what I'm saying is that for Remy's case, that he's not liking the way the gun is. Well, maybe it's because you don't want to have it the way that everybody is setting it up. Maybe you want a fast fire gun, you want one with extra hip fire. I mean, there's a lot of different rules out there that you might find that you like a lot better, because I mean, in general, everybody knows that pulse rifles are the ones that are wrecking everywhere. But if you're running, if you're used to running a different type of gun, it is a big different feel. I
Well,
mean, for all of year one, I ran hand cannons, and now I'm having to run pulse rifles, and they are a lot different to fight with.
Oh well, it's funny that you mentioned it, because I don't even use either. I have both of them leveled up, but I actually use Inward Lamp, which is a scout rifle, because I have auto right. I have auto full auto. So because with having the full auto, it allows me to only worry about aim and not worry about pulling the trigger. It's just one less button I have to do, right? So I can just hold the damn trigger down and just aim. And it allows me to get more shots on target,
Yeah.
and the range is there and all those things. So in trials and PvP and whatever, I've tried Nerwins, I've tried Hawksaw, I've tried Red Death, all of them, but I get more shots on target with my inward lamp because it's full auto and it's got hidden hand. So if I get it anywhere near your head, it's locked on and you're done.
Yeah, that's
So
how I used to be in Call of Duty, and
right,
that's when I came to Destiny. That's the very first thing I did was, oop, I'm going auto rifle, and of course at the time auto rifles were the beast, But
right. I
when
mean,
when they became crap, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start using hand cannons, and I actually started using the Iron Banner hand cannon, and you learn to play different, and
right,
it's a hard learning curve in the beginning.
right.
But for those people that want a full auto, maybe that's the way to go too. Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay, so let's move along from there. I did want to point out to the panel and everyone listening at home, we are just over an hour into this episode, and hey, we're not just starting. Isn't this amazing? This is the way it should work. Yeah, you know what? And you know what's messed up is XSplit just worked. Like I only tried to
What?
broadcast once, and it just worked. But whatever. If what I have to do is start streaming before the stream is supposed to be starting, then I will do it because it was so nice. Like, it just started streaming, and I muted up everything, and I just walked away from it, and I said, I'm going to get myself a glass of water because hooray, we're going to be on time, or at least as on time as we can be. 8:03, I think, is when we started, and that's awesome by me. Fred Rock says stream before the stream, and that is actually the plan. I will be streaming some form of Destiny before the show starts, just because it's a great opportunity. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and also I don't know if it's going to be what helps me start on time, not 40 minutes late. Like, what is that? Like, I just want it to work. I just want it to work. That's all. So so I'm super excited about that. But why don't we get back to what is going on, Agrios?
So we were talking about the Iron Banner. We mentioned the legendary gear drops, and we've talked about a lot of other stuff since then. The reputation was also increased by 20% for the game wins and such, and that should speed up character progression a whole lot. And it was already quite quick before. Has anybody here finished their Iron Banner leveling up now because of that?
Because of what?
The increased buff rate. Have you noticed your characters leveling up in the Iron Banner much quicker than before?
I haven't. I'm still on my character one. I'm at 4 3/4.
I haven't touched it.
Yeah, I'm doing the anti-Agrios. Agrios, by the way, he waits till Friday, and then he goes in there and he just levels them all up in like 2 days.
Uh-huh.
Where I'm grinding my first dude all the way to 5. And the reason is I'm doing an experiment because I want to see the drops, but then the other two level up so quick because of the catch-up bonus. So I'm just having fun with my Titan because it's the Iron Hammer, not the Iron Banner, right? So I'm just really kind of rolling with my Titan and having fun with it. But after I get to 5, which will be tomorrow, I'll definitely be doing Blink Shotgun with Titan and Hunter. So
Well, you know the nice thing, I actually found this out on Reddit this morning, which I didn't realize. If you get to rank 5 on one character, and then go in with something that's not even rank 1, it will have rank 5 drops.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, so
right.
I've never played that way. I switch back and forth every single character each day and do all my bounties and whatnot because I love Iron Banner to begin with. But you're kind of hurting yourself if you don't do it the way you're talking about because you can get so many more drops that way.
Right.
Which is
I used to always.
Which is why I think that's why they've changed things the way they have, because I was thinking about it as well. Like if you hit 5 as soon as possible, then you're looking at really great drops for the remainder of time that you're playing instead of pushing at the very end and just getting those, just getting whatever you get. The more time you put into it, it's RNG again.
Well, D-Bulg was one of our Guardian 1 guys. He's a maniac. He's got 2 guys to rank 5 already. He's on his 3rd. But his drops every single match are purple, 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 purple. Every single freaking match. It's like your RNGesus is amazing. But it's just because that's actually a factor because he's getting drops every match. It really does work that way.
That's cool. I hung out in his stream the other day. He seems like a cool kid.
He is a cool kid.
Continuing.
So they've made some changes to the maps as well. They've adjusted rumble landing positions on Frontier for better spacing. They moved heavy ammo crates on Asylum. They added Asylum to the skirmish playlist. They added invisible physics and kill volumes to prevent players from going out of bounds on the Burning Shrine, Frontier,
What?
and Vertigo. Apparently, some players were, finding their way out of the map and doing some running around on a couple maps there. So they've put an end to that.
Never heard of that.
They fixed text in the introduction to Widow's Court. Does anybody know what was messed up in the text introduction to Widow's Court?
Other than I hate that map, no.
It said "Welcome, K-Dub," but it said it to everyone. No, I don't know. I have no idea. Jez, do you know what was wrong with it?
Nope, but I was Googling it as you talk.
Excellent. Let us know if you come up with something.
All right.
Moving on.
So they made some changes to items as well. Banshee 44 has remembered where he was keeping his stores of weapon parts, and now he sells them for Glimmer. Faction rep turnips have been accordingly been reduced in value from 75 rep back down to 50 rep for 25 parts. Shaxx now sells all 3 legendary swords to players who complete the quest Blade Master. Legendary swords now have a level requirement of 40. They fixed an issue where players could not accept a refurbished Arcadia ship from Amanda Holiday if they already had one in their vault. They made some changes to the inventory as well. The Agon Arc rune can no longer be transferred to the vault between characters to prevent a circumstance where that action would lock the player's other characters out of potential rewards. Charged Agon Arc runes can still be vaulted and transferred between characters. They fixed an issue where the Wolfsgren emblem was not available from the collection station if the player had a full collection. And they fixed an issue where the Laura Prima emblem would keep getting awarded to the player upon entering orbit. With this update, they created a couple issues, which we saw a hotfix for earlier. In the tower, they fixed an issue with the Cryptarch where rare leg armor engrams were not decrypting correctly. And they fixed an issue with Lord Saladin where the descriptions for the Iron Banner shaders and emblems were displaying random perks incorrectly. They, digging into the weekly update, we're still staying on track talking about updates. There's a big one coming up in December, talking about weapon rebalancing and such.
Hey, Agrios, I'm gonna stop you 1 second because that's an important thing that we need to get to in the December update. But there's something you mentioned that I want to talk about real quick.
Sure.
Has anybody purchased any of the legendary swords from Shaxx?
No.
I have not.
All right, so if you go to buy a legendary weapon from the Crucible Master, how many legendary marks does it cost?
I think it said like 40 or something like this.
No, it's 150.
Is it?
Yes. Do you know how much a legendary sword costs from the Crucible Master?
Yeah, it's 20.
Shaxx? It's 25.
Oh, okay, that's what.
Yeah, but what?
25.
Why is that a big deal?
All right, so I go over and buy a legendary stupid gun that I'm not going to ever use, an auto rifle or whatever, and it's 150 marks. But I can go over and buy this legendary sword from Shaxx for 25 marks.
Yeah, but
Which
you've already owned that sword. That's why
I
you've not
don't.
already owned
I
the
do.
gun.
No, I do not.
No,
I have one. I have one sword. I have the void. I have the void one. I can go
It's
buy the
because it's
arc
just a
one.
sword. Are you talking because of like story for theme in the world?
No, it's like so. All right, in my opinion, the best sword, the exotic sword, is the arc one because it has ranged. Right, you can shoot it. The only one that I've gotten on any of my characters is the void one. Period. The end. I didn't even do any of the other ones at all. But I can go to
Okay.
Shaxx right now and purchase the legendary arc edge for 25 legendary marks. That is like
Right.
that's like the cheapest thing ever. It's ridiculous. I can go buy so right now I can buy the soul edge and the arc edge for both of them for 50 legendary marks where I have to go if I want to go buy a hawk saw or if I want to go buy a stupid whatever other gun, the Seattle looking gun from the other, it's 150 marks. That's so ridiculously cheap. It's that's like the best deal in Destiny. I mean, you could go in there and just break them down for legendary marks. I mean, honestly, but
What do
that's
you
gonna
mean?
also that's gonna also give you the quest line to go and get your exotic sword. So I just think it's a great deal. I was just wondering if anybody else had purchased it because I only did the one.
Okay, now I'm confused. Are you telling me that you can buy the legendary sword even if you haven't done the quest yet on the other character?
Yes.
as long as you've done one character,
As
you
long as
can
you've done
buy.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
have earned one sword.
That's
As
kind
long
of
as,
that's kind of broken. But the thing is that I understand why it's not expensive. It's not expensive because you can easily go and do that quest and get the sword
For
for
free.
free. Yeah, it doesn't cost you
agreed.
anything.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. But 25 legendary marks, like I can go do one mission and I can go get that sword now.
You know, KW, you're starting to sound like a stand-up comedian. What was it that you said just a little bit ago? You're like, "Oh man, am I right or am I right?" Like it was. I wish I would had written it down, but it was really funny. Like your delivery was very like, I don't know, like you're doing stand-up on a plane or something.
Well, it's funny. It's just interesting to me that I want that arc exotic sword so bad, and it took me forever to do my exotic bounty on my void sword because I was an idiot and I was on a Titan and I picked a void sword, right? So I had to do melees and grenades for 2 freaking hours on dudes down, right? This is fucking stupid. So I should have picked anything other than void as a Titan, but I didn't. But I would love to have the boltcaster and I don't have it. So I'm going to Shaxx and going, oh, 25 legendary marks, really? And then I can start that quest line and do that? Awesome. That's like a great deal. I just was curious if anybody else had felt
But you
that.
don't really have to do
Or,
anything on your other characters to get the sword in the first place, do you?
You have to
well, you got to go
get
through the
25
quest line.
hadium
You
flakes.
just get right. You got to get right. But for 25 legendary marks, and I have this, and then I can just go through the rest of it. That's cool.
What K-Dab's saying is that he's too lazy to go get it on his other characters. That's what he's
Maybe
saying.
that. Yeah, you're actually right.
Well, I
You're
have
right.
just so many extra happy flakes just laying there that
I
like
was
I
just
didn't have to
really
actually farm
excited that
them on
for
my other two characters.
25
I just had
legendary
them
marks,
stacked
I
before
have
and
that
bought the sword.
sword.
I don't know. I thought it was. I think you're overanalyzing it because
Am I?
it's a free sword. Uh, and I think that Bungie made it really cheap for people like me that accidentally deleted it that didn't mean to because that's the only reason to have them sell it is because people have gone and screwed up and gone and deleted it.
Maybe. You could be right. That's why I wanted to get your input as to if anybody had what your experience was, because I thought that was like, wow, 25 legendary marks. I would have freaking, oh my gosh, that's great. I
imagine there's probably a bunch of people out there who are tight on inventory space that went and got the exotic version of their sword, and they're like, oh, why do I need this one? And didn't think and deleted it too, and then realized, oh wait, maybe I want to run an exotic primary or something like that.
So sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought that was something I wanted to mention. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not gonna complain, KW, if they want to give us a fun weapon for super cheap. Like,
that's kind of what I'm saying.
I'm all about it. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's do more of it, because
exactly.
Again, like once you hit that high enough, spending so many marks on a weapon that you're gonna have to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade to get it back to the rest of your guns is really, it's kind of deflating in a lot of ways.
Because I want to shoot that bolt caster in PvP, and I haven't been able to yet, so I'm gonna now.
What's the deal with the swords?
Are we on a game show now? Is that
yes.
I'll take. Why the hell are these swords so cheap? For 200, Alex.
For 200, Alex.
All right, moving on.
What is fun?
So the Destiny update in December looks like a big one. They tell us that some of the regular sandbox updates, as promised by senior design lead Sage Merrill, would be present, and they bring in senior designer John Wisniewski to tell us the details on the changes coming to the weapon balance. They seem to be touching everything a little bit. It starts off with changes to the auto rifles. They don't like the fact that they're losing out to pulse rifles on close quarter encounters still. So their goals are for auto rifles to be optimal at close to medium range, and that they can effectively compete against pulse rifles in PvP. The changes are actually going to make our small increases to the base damage. The low rate of fire, like Sora's Regime and Answering Chord, are going to get a 3% base damage increase. The medium rate of fire, the Zalo Supercell, Paleo Contact, JPK 43, they're going to get a 7% base impact damage increase. And the high rate of fire ones, like the Harmonist, the Necrochasm, the super high rate of fire bullet hoses, they're going to get a 4% base damage increase. This should give auto rifles a little bit of love in PvP. Let's hope it's enough to bring them back up to to be able to compete, because they're definitely outclassed at the moment.
Until you're hit with the Zeros that like uber max range and it's a 3-shot kill.
It's the drop off that's killing them.
I'm really surprised that they're buffing Zalo though, because that gun already wrecks everybody in PvP. So
hang on, have you used it in PvP, Sharks?
Yes.
Yeah, I've used it.
Okay, so look, auto rifle. The problem with auto rifles is drop off. So at a specific range, yes, it melts you immediately, but as soon as you get past a specific range, I will wreck you if you have Zalo.
That is true.
Right. No, I understand that, and I agree, and that's how it should be. But that's not what they're not changing the range. They're changing the damage on it, and it's like it doesn't need any more damage.
Right, but what K-Dub's saying is,
the point that I'm making is I can kill you with a shotgun at the range that you need to melt me with your Zalo.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't do that either.
I'm slightly exaggerating, but the point that I'm making is, you understand. So when you get to the range that is in the wheelhouse for the Zalo, it's a little too close. There should be. My point is there should be more range in the autos. That's the whole. Right.
My speculation on the Zalo is this. The 7% damage increase probably isn't going to change the time to kill very, very much in those up-close damage situations. Like maybe it's going to knock one bullet off the amount of bullets it takes to kill you. Somewhere in there I would speculate. Right. But giving it that 7% increase is going to effectively extend the range a little bit.
True.
Because when that damage starts to fall off, it's got 7% more damage to work with to push out that kill radius just a little bit further.
Agreed.
Zalo is really fun to use in Crucible.
It is.
I started my Crucible off with auto rifles because auto rifles feel fun to me, and I can focus on just getting the target into the sights instead of having to worry about a certain pacing, and so at some point, oh, they really took auto rifles off the list of things you should use. uh, for some reason, I don't even know why I decided to use the Zalo in Crucible, but when I did, I kind of feel like there's so much going on in the barrel that using the sights once you started pulling the trigger is difficult. I kind of feel like it's like you're just pointing in a direction and like closing your eyes. just but what's funny about that and almost kind of sad is the fact that things just fall down on the other end of the barrel like it is a beast. It is a beast in Crucible. A lot of fun to use. It kind of reminds me of like a one of those proton one of those proton gliders from Ghostbusters. Like
Yes. You gotta hold it still. It's flying all over the place.
But that's cool. It's cool to see that auto rifles are getting some love. What else you got, Agrios?
So the pulse rifles are going to face the Nerf hammer. Pulse rifle is to be optimal at medium range, but still effective to engage enemies at close or medium long range. Pulse rifles should feel strong in PvP, but not be the only competitive option. So they're going to reduce the base damage of all of them. The low rate of fire ones, like the Messenger, the Spare Change, will get a 9% base damage reduction. The medium rate of fire ones, like the Hawksaw, No Time to Explain, Red Death, will get an 8% damage reduction. The high rate of fire ones, like Bad Juju, will get an 8% damage reduction as well. And the highest rate of fire, such as the Grasp of Malok, which drops from the Omnigul Strike and such, will get a 2% base damage reduction. Now, the Grasp of Marek, that class of high rate of fire, the bullet hose of the pulse rifle, if you will, was already a bit substandard to the rest. So I doubt that the 2% will probably bring it close to in line with the rest of these once the rest of the nerfs fall into place. They're reducing the damage fall off to start between auto rifle and hand cannon, or they're reducing the damage fall off to start between the auto rifle and hand cannon ranges. So it should fall right between those two. A low range pulse rifle will have a shorter damage fall off than an average hand cannon, and a high range pulse rifle will have a further damage fall off than an average hand cannon. So they'll be increasing the base damage against AI combatants to 1.3 times, was 1.25 times. So that seems pretty minuscule right there. I don't know how that's going to have much impact.
Minuscule, perfect description.
Yeah. I don't see how that's like even worth noting or doing that tiny of a change, because I don't know how at all you're going to feel, a difference in performance against AI combatants. They actually have a chart here. It's a design scratch chart that compares pulse rifle shots to kill between 2.0 and 2.1. Base damage buffs / modifiers are not accounted for. And it's worth a little bit of an analyze. It's kind of interesting. I'm a big fan of info like this. I wish Bungie would provide it a lot more often.
Well, can we agree that all weapon changes have only to do, and I'm slightly exaggerating again, but have only to do with PvP? Because who cares PvE? I can kill PvE with any weapon. I mean, there's specific weapons like Touch of Malice or a certain sniper that you
these
might
things
need.
And make these changes separately is because people who, for instance, don't PvP at all and see that
I understand.
their pulse rifle that they're happy with is getting nerfed for PvP. They're like, oh, but I shouldn't have to feel this pain,
I understand, but my point is, where this pain or this issue is in PvP. So people are going, holy crap, every time I go into the Crucible, all I see is Hawksaw. All I see is Nerwins, right? Just like in year one, all I see is Thorn. That was a problem, is because of PvP. It had nothing to do with PvE. So the good news for me, because I use a scout rifle, is that Hawksaw and that Nerwins that occasionally I lose to, I'm not going to lose to anymore. But so all these gun changes that they're making, it's 100%, in my opinion, has to do with PvP complaints, which was valid. They're valid complaints, right?
Did I get cut off, or did you get cut off?
Because
Uh-oh.
I don't know,
We're
because
losing Agrios.
they're trying to
there he
they're trying
goes.
they're trying to find balance, which is the hardest part of this game is balance, right? So they're trying to find balance, and it's the meta has gone to where it's all pulse rifles. So
yeah, but we all knew that this would happen. Okay,
yeah,
this
no,
happens. This
agreed.
happens every single time they change anything
Yes.
as far as guns go.
Yes.
It happened from auto rifles to hand cannons, from hand cannons to these pulse rifles. Now, I think what people at Bungie are doing with Destiny now is they realize that it just pisses people off to see the same thing there all the time. So
Right.
what they're going to end up doing is they're just going to change it on us all the time, and then you're not going to. Then what you're going to get instead is you're going to get people pissed off because they're always changing it. Because nobody's
Right.
ever going to be happy with what's going on.
Well, so the issue is it that hard to make it to where the TTK is exactly the same on every weapon type? It doesn't seem like it would be mathematically
Okay, well,
that.
the problem is that they want there to be a variety. They want it to be fun and have a variety of gameplay types. So
Yes.
different weapons are effective at different ranges is the
Agreed.
problem.
Agreed. Right.
So if you
Agreed.
put them, so they are balanced to a point where you would say, well, if you put the scout rifle user here, and then you put the pulse rifle user 20 feet in front of them, and then you put the hand cannon user and auto rifle user 20 feet in front of them,
Agreed.
they'll all have the same TTK on this dude over here. But the
Understand.
problem is when
Right.
that pulse rifle or scout rifle user comes in real close, or the auto rifle user goes farther away, that you get the balance issues.
Right. Agreed.
Okay, so we're rapidly running out of time.
Sorry.
But here's my question for you guys, so we can continue. KW, do you think that Bungie is moving closer to a perfect version of what you're talking about, or do you think that it's just never going to be there?
Well, yeah, perfect version is impossible, right? Because, like Agrius was just saying, it's about. I don't know if you guys. There was an Nemesis podcast recently that they had, and I forget which designer was on, but he talked about range, and range is more than just the distance of the gun. Range, there are like 5 different things that go into a range of a gun. There's a cone, and he explained it very eloquently. It's one of the best things I've heard about how guns are dispersed in Destiny and how what range really means to a gun. that's why that's why my favorite perk is what's the one that has range and stability as a god who look like guns, small bore. That's why small bore is my favorite perk as a gun, because it gives me increased range and stability on every gun. that that increases that literally increases the damage on your gun. I'm using damage in air quotes, damage on by like 40%, because of the what it affects in the area. It's so dramatically. So if you can get the perfect balance and small bore and something like that on a gun, it makes it twice as good as another gun of the same gun.
But this
So
is the whole reason that you're not going to have it where every single gun in
agreed.
the game,
Right.
because there are so many different
Variants.
perks that you can
Right.
put on these guns.
Right.
If the only way that they could change that would be to take all the perks away, and people don't want that either.
So, do
No.
you think, Sharks, that Bungie is moving in the right direction, or do you think that they're just shuffling furniture around on the Titanic?
No, they're doing the same thing that they've always done. They're just shuffling around, and they're just trying to appease the crowd for a little while until the next time that they do it.
Well,
I knew right away that pulse rifles wouldn't last very long. I'm actually surprised that they didn't last longer than what they're doing. But I mean, they've said this in the weekly update over and over and over again. Oh, this gun had its time. Next gun's going to have its time. Blah blah blah. they are not going to fix it permanently. It's going to be an ongoing battle like this for a very, very long time, at least with Destiny 1. I don't know what they might change in Destiny 2, but I'm not really having my hopes up for that either.
Look,
in a progressive game that wants to give you the ability to play the way you want to play, there's no such thing as balance. I feel like any good game that's trying to give you a large variety of weapons and a large variety of playstyle abilities is never going to ever achieve perfect balance, especially as they continue to introduce new things to the game all the time. If you take away all that stuff, you go back to a very basic style game, like maybe like, you know, like the old school Halos, where you only had like, okay, this was the auto rifle, this is how the auto rifle worked. And maybe there's two different variants of the auto rifle, maybe, but they would have been like, you know, the same for everybody. Everybody had the same thing. So if you're somebody else is using the exact same weapon as you, then of course, like everything is easy to balance. But you know, that's not really what players want. So I don't think it's so much an ability of them like not being able to balance as the decisions they've made, the type of game they've decided to made, there not being a possible perfect balance for. I think, you know, as they continue to enter new weapons all the time, they're just going to have to continue to make tweaks like this all the time in response to that, because there's only so much you can tell from a small focus group of players playing with the new weapons before they release.
Yeah, but you're gonna have a problem with this though in one regards, because this is what everybody keeps harping about that they want. They want this to go pro, you know, and in order to go pro, you have to have forging and you have to have private games and all this stuff. Do you honestly think that you could go pro with the gun setups that you have now? There's no way.
Well, you could go pro if they say, okay, you have to use vendor weapons for pro.
Yeah, it'd be set guns.
Well,
Well,
exactly.
Really cool.
Do that now.
Do
that now in PvP. Say you have a set gun. You go in there with guns.
But people don't want that.
Why not? Who says that they don't want it?
I could see that. I could see what you're saying, Agrios. Like, people aren't interested in being told what they can and cannot do. But I believe that in regular PvP. But I believe that if there was a specific setup, like, here's what you can use. Here is your regulatory. It would be like in NFL if everyone was just able to put razor blades and like chainsaws and, you know, like, if you could just put whatever you wanted. Yeah, Blood Bowl. Like there needs to be a specific set of standards met in order to ensure that what you're doing is based on skill, not on what you have. So I believe that you're right, Sharks, that no one wants, or Agrios, no one wants to be told what to do in regular PvP, but in a specific situation. If you want to compete in this pro circuit, here is your pro circuit warlock loadout, you know, or here are your choices of rocket launcher or machine gun, you know, or here is
simple as adding an MLG mode to Crucible that only permits things sold by the Crucible quartermasters.
Right, but that would mean that you'd have to have some kind of balance with that Crucible quartermaster,
and you would have balance with the guns, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that the guns aren't balanced; they aren't going to be unless they do certain things, you know. And it's like that you guys are giving options for them to try. They're not doing any of that, and they've been able to implement stuff like this for a long time. They're pussyfooting their way around this, and just by, okay, let's make this gun top of the line right now, and people will go out and do it. You know, like Caleb said, you know, that it really wouldn't be that hard for them to set exact values. Say this gun type does this amount of damage at A to B, and this gun type does this amount of damage, and so forth. And then you go, okay, but if you want this gun to be better at 100 yards, then it does that top damage, which the other gun wouldn't. There's the fall off, but there isn't that.
The only reason that I was saying that is because it's all math. Math is exact. You know, you can figure this out.
There's your stand-up again.
But you know what I'm saying though? It's exact. You can exactly figure this out to the decimal. So there should be a way to make balance, at least, you know, mathematically correct, versus All right, so if anybody could just stand up and say, "I want to pick a certain gun that I want to use," would anybody pick a pulse rifle? No, you wouldn't.
Crimson would.
Why?
Why?
Why would?
Wait, why
I
wouldn't
would
you?
pick a
Because
pulse
why
rifle.
would you want an auto rifle that's going to pause between bullets?
It's
You
not an auto
wouldn't.
rifle. What are you talking
But
about? You go
but
to Call of Duty.
It's got
This was
better
the
range.
type of gun.
I
It's got
understand.
better range.
I understand. But the point is, if all right, so then if it's better range, my scout rifle has that range. My scout rifle will kill you just as quickly as that pulse. I just
No,
hate
no, no.
pulse.
Pulse rifles kill you quicker than a scout rifle will.
A scout
Be
rifle is supposed to be
right.
further away than a pulse rifle.
I
Right.
understand. I understand. But what I'm saying is the the pulse rifle is basically an auto rifle between.
Uh-oh.
Don't know what he's.
It's a
Uh-oh.
silly little. It's a silly
You
little.
broke. You broke off, Caleb. Try that again.
It all right. So I was saying the pulse rifle is a silly little variant between a scout rifle and an auto rifle.
I disagree with
And
that.
okay, well, why do you think in year
A,
one?
a
Why do
pulse
you?
rifle is the same thing as an assault rifle that you have a 3-shot burst. That's
I
what a pulse
understand.
rifle is.
All right.
Right, I understand.
We got to get back on track.
All right.
Jez, do you think that all their tinkering is moving in the right direction, or do you think they're just shuffling around deck chairs?
Well, shuffling around deck chairs eventually leads to the right pattern, right?
Well, not if you're on the Titanic. What does it matter?
Well, I don't think they were shuffled on purpose.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I wanted Jez's opinion on this, honestly.
Well, from the changes that I've read, it's not. I don't know if it's going to be super, and it's not going to be a super upheaval of everything that everyone believes in. People are still going to play with the guns they like and find the guns that work.
Yep. Crimson Warlock, what do you think? All these changes, the gunplay in Destiny has changed quite a bit since year one and all through year one, and there will be further things. Do you think that they're working closer towards a more perfect union, or do you think that this is something that's it's it doesn't matter because they're just going to keep changing something later, so they're not trying to make it perfect, they're just trying to change it like seasons?
To me, they're just trying to change it. The amount of guns that are in Destiny is like the amount of champions that is in League of Legends. And whenever they make updates, some champions that were the meta get forgotten about for a season or two, and then some that were completely forgotten about become the new superstars. And that's just what happens in Destiny, and that's just what's going to keep on happening because there's just too many guns and too many variants of your four main types, or there's just too many variants of every type of weapon to find balance that works and they can keep it. So they're just going to keep rotating.
Got it. That sounds reasonable. All right, Egrios, we have like 10 minutes with outro and everything. What else you got for us?
Okay, well, we're going to finish talking more about the weapon rebalancing in the future. There's, I think, a lot more to be said about that. One thing along the lines of what you were just saying there at the end, I think part of the benefit of their little process here, too, is that people have to keep hunting guns. It gives them something to do in Destiny. They change the meta. Well, there's new guns that need obtained now by people, so it's more stuff for the Guardians to do.
There it is.
But, yeah, so we're going to be seeing new exotics coming soon. 2 of them are exclusive to year 2. Others are weapons and armor from year 1 that have been upgraded to keep pace with your level 40 character. And a couple of the year 1 reprisals might even have some new surprises tucked away in their talent trees. If you want to see which ones have been chosen, they'll be showing images on Instagram this week as early as tomorrow. Refer a Friend begins on Monday, November 23rd. There will be a new page on Bungie.net that will reveal everything you need to know to link up and start progressing together. Currently active Guardians will be considered veterans, and people purchasing / playing Destiny the Taken King for the first time will be considered referral candidates. Details as far as what needs to be done aren't known beyond this at this point in time. Some rewards were data mined earlier this week as prophesized by Bungie. We saw an interesting looking sparrow and some emblems, or an emblem that we know of so far. If you find fellow Guardians engaging in malicious activity or suspected cheating in the Iron Banner Trials of Osiris this weekend, you can file a report on the new contact form that they have provided. This gives the first ever means outside the game of officially reporting such things. And they do remind you, however, that it's primarily used for data collection, and you may not receive an actual response, or you may not actually receive a response or request for more information. What do you guys think about the Refer a Friend program? Excited?
Man, I definitely wanted to talk more about that. Definitely lots of very cool information there. I'm excited because I think I know one person on the Xbox who doesn't doesn't yet have it. So it actually states that people who are playing the Taken King after that. So like if they bought Vanilla Destiny and they have yet to buy Taken King, those people will count. Yes.
That's what it seems to imply, but the two statements are somewhat contradictory. It says currently active Guardians will be considered veterans. Well, currently active is a pretty gray area statement. Does currently active mean that they still have a character they haven't deleted in the game, like my girlfriend who played part way through Vanilla Destiny but has never logged into the Taken King? Like if I put her on a list and she logs into the Taken King, does she count for me or not? I don't know.
That's a great question. But it's definitely cool. Definitely cool, and it's right in line with something that I wanted to do anyways. And on that line, I have something very exciting to announce next week. It's going to be very cool, I think. This is all kicks ass. What else we got?
Well, of course, check out the movie of the week. The winner this week was a sparrow snipe. Somebody does a trick sparrow barrel roll into the air, pops off floating through the air, and snipes someone clear across the map. It's a show off of insane skill and the insane aim assist on some of the sniper rifles in Destiny at the moment. The rest of the little videos this week are all worth checking out. Nope. 3 shotgun kills versus Guardians with supers right in a row coming out of a tunnel. And actually, the third one I thought maybe should have been the number 1 video this week. 11 kills for a clutch win in the trials.
I totally agree.
That was a true display of skill there. That wasn't just some luck or taking advantage of aim assist. That guy
was also a display of lag in PvP.
A little bit, yes. And so those are all worth checking out. And I highly recommend you do that. They finish off by saying that they are going to be at PSX next week. The weekly update next week should be a light one due to Thanksgiving. And but they mentioned they're going to be at PSX, so hopefully we'll see something interesting out of there, perhaps of where the future of Destiny 1 is going to go, because a lot of people expected to see a second, a season pass part 2 come out for DLCs after the Taken King, and so far the word on what's going to go on between now and next September, the word's been mum.
Crazy. I know Bife was freaking out on Twitter earlier today. He said something
I know more console gave birth to some brown engrams. I don't know if anybody saw that, but it was a little disturbing.
So the people who play Destiny most are clamoring for new content, and it's crazy because I would love to play that much. I would love to play that so much that I just don't have anything to do, and I'm waiting for new stuff. I mean, I did start playing another video game, and so that also takes away from my time in Destiny, but I don't play it nearly enough to just be thinking like, oh, I've totally screwed up here.
PSX would be the place to announce it. I mean, because Destiny has certainly been PlayStation's, golden boy here for a while. So, that would be where I would expect to hear something of it, because, there's going to be some sort of PlayStation exclusive armor or weapon type content or something like that. So it almost certainly is going to come out, of PlayStation's mouth first.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I'm fine with that. I like all systems. At some point, I got a job and I could just buy each of them. Like I was so Nintendo fanboy when I was young, and my parents were buying the systems. And now, I can just do it. I just did it. Like I saw what PlayStation had to offer, and I bought it because awesome.
Hey, real quick before we go, did anybody keep their year one primaries that have elementals?
I did. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
the
just
only
I was
thing
just
I've
talking to
kept.
Wolf Bible Stone in the chat. I was just saying that I used Vision of Confluence this week in the Nightfall because it was a solar burn.
Right, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's because now that I'm leveled up high enough, I put it on. I was 290.
Right.
So I was just curious who kept theirs and who's still using those and blah blah blah.
Right, we talked about this on a previous episode where it was, if you are a high enough level, you can use these ones.
Right.
I believe it was Jez that brought up that there was actually some portion amount that still goes off the weapon level. It's not
Yeah.
just light level, and I've noticed
correct.
that. But I mean, Vision of Confluence already does so much damage. Like it was
Right.
already a really killer weapon, and for it to have a burn, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I was just curious. So yeah.
Okay, so do you got anything else, Agrios? That's it.
Nope, that's everything.
Okay,
That
cool.
we can discuss this week anyway. We have more left over from this week that we're definitely going to have to talk about next week.
Yeah.
But next week's supposed to be a late update anyway, so
Right.
more
Right.
good talk about weapons in the Crucible.
All right, so next Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here broadcasting. You guys are not. It's not mandatory that you guys come. If you have some family things that you need to do, do them. Whatever. But I will be broadcasting for all those
I'll be
listening.
here.
Pretty sure Thanksgiving was last month.
I hope
Ideas.
not. I didn't get my turkey.
The
Okay,
turkeys
cool.
were wishing it was last month.
Right. Right, that's who started the rumor. Oh no, I totally heard.
That's right.
No, I'm Canadian. Our Thanksgiving actually is in October.
Yeah, I do that.
Right now, all the turkeys are going. Wait, I'm Canadian, bro.
Right, no, check it out. Here's my visa.
That was last month.
All right, cool. Well then, K-Dub, shout out.
Just shout out to the community, man, because we've had such a good time in the last 3 weeks with either Extra Life or with all the other things that we've done. It's been great. We ran a stream today, which was a lot of fun with Guardian 1. A lot of the new Guardian 1 dudes are awesome. I'm going to probably stream tomorrow, either Hard Raid or Trials. So tune in. We'll be rocking the Guardian Radio stream tomorrow.
Excellent. Sharks.
Shout out to all the people that were affected in Paris.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Agrios.
Shout out to Bethesda for finally creating a new crack that has managed to, for the first time since Destiny's release, make me miss more than one day of Destiny, and in fact, completing all my weekly stuff for the first week since shortly after launch. So, shout out to them.
Right,
Awesome
and
job.
this is really quite the feat because it's not like you're short on playing time. Like you've just chosen, like the hour that it's going to take me to do all of this is not worth it. Jez.
I always feel bad when there's like super serious shoutouts and then it gets to me and I'm like, I don't know. Shout out to For the Trees AI because sorry, I don't check my notifications on PlayStation.
He doesn't. This is true.
Actually, I have it disabled.
I do too. Well, I mean, it just kept popping up over my radar. I can't have that happen.
Yeah.
Crimson.
My shout out tonight is for everyone who's still playing Iron Banner and gonna play Trials tomorrow, sticking with Destiny still. You guys are making my time in Iron Banner frustratingly fun.
Frustratingly fun.
I'm waiting on Iron Banner until Trials of Osiris is out.
That was a perfect description. Frustratingly fun.
Yep.
My shout out is to Chance from Destiny Dispatch. He was. I think that he was one of the very first people who took notice of my videos as Dear Bungie. And little known fact, I was part of the Destiny Dispatch crew for a small time. I was their video editor. I helped them do a couple of podcasts, but I wasn't on them because their time was different. But his dad stopped breathing at some point in the last couple of days, and is at the hospital at last I heard. And I don't even want to think about that. Like I don't want to think about my dad being dead. It doesn't seem like it's going to be very fun to be where he is in life, and then after that, I love my dad, and I don't know. I don't talk to him every day, and sometimes he's really irritating, but it sucks. So thank you, Chance, for believing in me. He was one of the first people who was like, your videos are great, and I just totally believed him because I don't know, he's a really genuine dude. So shout out to him because he needs it. If you want to put somebody in your thoughts, that's a great way to put it. That wraps up episode 66. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.